18-year-old Tamera McLoyd sits in Cuyahoga County Jail tonight, charged with shooting and killing Shane Bartek New Year's Eve. As we first told you last night, McLoyd already on probation when that shooting happened and wanted for another armed robbery.
I'm not going to no 7B, that's the level.
New video obtained by the I-Team shows Tamera McLoyd in jail flying into a rage, complaining about getting moved to a different part of the jail and shouting about her case, claiming to be a victim.
This what you get when you kill a cop.
Tamera McLoyd was born on July 28, 2003, in Garfield Heights, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland. According to her mother, Tamera began displaying signs of mental illness as early as the age of 5. In her early teens, she started a life of crime. She was convicted of an assault at the age of 14, and then domestic violence at 15. During that time, she also collected a list of minor traffic offenses. On May 16, 2020, 16-year-old Tamera was arrested for fighting a 23-year-old woman at the victim's family event. Tamera allegedly sucker-punched the victim and they began trading blows. After she lost, she jumped in a car and drove away. Later that day, the 16-year-old came back to the victim's house with her mother and fired shots at the victim. She was not hit, but the police were called. Tamera was arrested and charged with felonious assault, discharging a firearm over a roadway, improperly handling a gun in a vehicle, and assault. But after the victim failed to show up for court twice, the judge dismissed the charges on November 3, 2020. On October 30, 2020, while on juvenile probation, Tamera met up with a 37-year-old man she met on the dating app, Plenty of Fish. While in his home, the pair went upstairs for a moment, but when they came back down, there were two men waiting for them with guns. They robbed the man, and after his 12-year-old son heard the commotion and came downstairs, they robbed him too. They stole $100 in cash, 2 cell phones, and a bank card that they used to transfer $284 from the man's account. Tamera then left with the two men in a Jeep that was reported stolen 4 days prior. The entire incident, both inside and out, was caught on the victim's home surveillance cameras. Tamera was then charged in Lorain County Juvenile Court with complicity to aggravated robbery, abduction, and 2 counts of grand theft. But, before she could be sentenced for that, Tamera was arrested with 2 other people in connection with the shoplifting of $874 worth of merchandise from Dillard's at South Park Mall in Strongsville, Ohio. She pleaded guilty to the robbery in June and she was sentenced on October 28, 2020, to 5 years of probation. On November 2, 2021, Tamera, Jada Height, then 18, and Jermaine Hagwood, then 29, drove to Lakewood, Ohio, and robbed a 22-year-old victim after pressing a gun to their back. They stole a debit card, a cell phone, jewelry, and $105 in cash, then fled in Jada's car. Later that same night, just before 11 p.m., Tamera, Jada, and Jermaine again used Jada's car to drive to Happy's Pizza on Detroit Avenue in Cleveland. They went in through the back door that was somehow propped open and ran in on 2 employees, ages 25 and 32, as they were closing the restaurant for the night. Brandishing their guns, the robbers demanded money. Jermaine hit one of the victims in the head with the gun before the robbers stole $300 from the register. They then forced the employees into a back office to look for the safe, but none was found. The group rummaged through the employees' pockets and stole a set of keys and a small handgun, according to police reports. Jermaine then pistol-whipped the 2 employees several more times before the 3 robbers fled the scene. Less than an hour later, Tamera and Jermaine approached a 58-year-old woman as she walked home in Cleveland Heights. They held her at gunpoint and stole her purse before taking off in a car. Jada was the getaway driver. A nearby Cleveland Heights police officer saw it happen, then saw Tamera and Jermaine get into the getaway car and speed off before the victim flagged down the officer. Cleveland Heights police searched the area, but Jada, Jermaine, and Tamera got away. 2 days later, police said, Jermaine and Jada approached a 33-year-old victim on Edgewater Drive in Lakewood while Tamera was the getaway driver. They robbed the victim at gunpoint, taking $60 in cash, a cell phone, a pair of earrings, and a bottle of wine. Lakewood police again responded, and Jada was later arrested by Cleveland police.
Walking up the lawn, and 2 people ran up behind me and kind of grabbed me, and then a gun was at my head.
On December 19, 2021, Tamera and Jermaine rear-ended a parked car near Rosalie Avenue and Edgewater Drive in Lakewood. The driver, 23, got out of her car to check the damage when Tamera and Jermaine pointed a gun at her, stole her purse and fled. Lakewood police found a lighter on the ground that had Jermaine's DNA on it.
Sometimes it's tight parking there, so I didn't really think anything of it. It was just like, oh, maybe they pulled too far forward or something like that. So I got out of the car and walked to the back where 2 people got out, and they both were just saying like, oh, so sorry. And so we looked at my bumper and looked at the front of their car for damage and didn't really see anything. So I was walking back up to the driver's side when they approached me from behind. I have a lot more anxiety going out after sunset. I'm a lot more cognizant of whether cars follow me for more than 2 blocks.
On Christmas Day 2021, at around 4:30 p.m. at the Cross Creek Apartments in Cleveland, Tamera and another person were dropped off wearing masks. Rafael Hernandez was unloading his car as he was just moving into the apartment. They flashed a gun and demanded Rafael's keys. He complied, and the 2 sped off in his Toyota Corolla. Hearing about a robbery in his own apartment complex was disappointing for Officer Shane Bartek. He joined the force in August of 2019 and had been assigned to Cleveland's 5th District. Everyone had nothing but good things to say about Shane. He was a great friend, family member, and officer. He loved helping people and spent a lot of his time volunteering in community service. On New Year's Eve, around 6 p.m., Shane was headed out. As he was walking toward his car, Tamera ran up to him. She pointed a gun at him and demanded his keys. According to police, Shane used his police training and fought back. During the scuffle, Tamera shot Shane twice in the back. They both ran off in opposite directions before Tamera came back to steal his vehicle. She drove away in his Mazda SUV but eventually traded it to another man, Anthony Butler Jr., for a blue Volkswagen Jetta he had available. Officer Shane Bartek was pronounced dead from 2 gunshot wounds shortly after at Fairview Hospital in Cleveland. He was only 25 years old. Hours later, Richmond Heights police spotted Anthony in Shane's vehicle, and a high-speed chase ensued. Officers pursued the vehicle to the Riviera Apartments located in Euclid, where it crashed into a fence and wedged itself between the fence post and a tree. Anthony was arrested and his bond was set at $5 million.
Shatter it. Unlock it. Oh, why do you shoot the car? We're not shooting the car. Oh my God. There's no weapons in the car, man. I can't do nothing. I know I'm going to jail, bro. Alright? I know I'm going to jail, bro.
Anthony voluntarily told officers that he traded a car for the SUV and claimed he knew nothing about the shooting. According to police, they got a warrant for Tamera's Instagram account and was able to pinpoint her location as she posted herself turning up. Officers pulled up and arrested Tamera at a gas station without incident.
88 in the door. 88 in the door. you shut the up. That's what you do.
Puffer, calm down. 88 on the door. Settle down, settle down, settle down, settle down, settle down. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be against your court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. If you understand your rights, I suggest you use them.
I didn't even do no what's wrong.
An interrogation followed where Tamera reportedly admitted to the crime.
I never drove this monster. Listen, one time though, like.
During his trial, Anthony Butler Jr. pleaded guilty to unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, failure to comply, receiving stolen property, and obstructing official business on June 29, 2022. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison.
I want to speak though. I want to speak. I recorded. I had nothing to do with the officer being killed. Please stop posting on the news, man. I had nothing to do with that. I had nothing to do with that. I don't care. I had nothing to do with it.
The defendant stole another car about a week prior to this car. Then he traded that car for this car. This car was actually the car that was stolen from the murder of Officer Shane Bartek.
Jada Height, 19, pleaded guilty to 4 counts of aggravated robbery and 1 count of failure to comply on August 22, 2022. She was sentenced to 16 years in prison. Jermaine Hagwood, 30, was convicted of 8 counts of aggravated robbery, 2 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of felonious assault, and 4 counts of having weapons under disability on August 26, 2022. He was sentenced to 36.5 years. At her trial, Tamera pleaded not guilty. Her mother testified to her troubled childhood.
Tamera has been fighting battles of her own since the age of 5. Something is wrong with her. She didn't just up and wake up and say she's going to kill somebody.
The prosecutor played Tamera's confession she gave to police just moments after she was arrested. They also played numerous recorded jail conversations she made. On one recording, Tamera called her mother at about 1:30 p.m. on January 2nd and told her that she had been charged with aggravated murder. She was recorded saying, "This shit wasn't no aggravated. This shit was an accident." She then went on to tell her mother that, "We was tussling, and he reached for the shit." Another call went out on January 21st to a friend of Tamera's. She told them that, "We was tussling, he reached for the gun, he fell, and then pow." Prosecutors also revealed that they recovered the gun used in the murder. DNA pulled from the handle of the .357 Magnum revolver matched Tamera's. It took a Cuyahoga County jury only 90 minutes to find Tamera McLoyd guilty of the murder of Officer Shane Bartek on August 3, 2022. She was only 19 years old.
The lesser included count of murder to count 2 as charged. The jury finds that you are guilty. The specs are therefore pertinent, and the jury finds that not only did you have and use a gun, that you also discharged it at a peace officer. So guilty on all 3 specs.
She was also convicted of 5 counts of aggravated robbery, 2 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of having weapons under disability, and 1 count of improperly handling firearms in a motor vehicle. She was originally sentenced to life in prison with parole eligibility after 54 years. But the judge discovered the court erred when it didn't assign Tamera's firearm sentences to be served consecutively. She was then resentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 47 years.
Video gives you a look at what her world will be like for a very long time.
To pay tribute to Shane, Utopia Street, at the intersection of East 152nd Street, was renamed after the fallen officer on November 6, 2022. The location was selected because it was not far from 5th District, where Bartek served. Rest in peace to Officer Shane Bartek.
All uniform officers, have a hand. Present. Ha! Power there!